Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and a new record for the channel is set today. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm very confident that the longest gap between a constructor appearing has just been created. Maybe to be certain, the longest gap between a first and second puzzle on the channel. I looked up when Dubaks last appeared, and it was 6 years ago, thanks to the wonderful spreadsheet that Backpal created and that Vebi now maintains. I link it in the description field under the video, and you can have a look at that to show all the past Cracking the Cryptic videos. I mean, it's quite an interesting read sometimes. That's the sort of thing I could read. I used to read the dictionary as a child. Now I could read the Cracking the Cryptic videos spreadsheet. But yeah, Dubaks wrote to us, and I'm going to disclose that Dubaks' name is Axel. Axel, and I think I'm perfectly fair to do that because he didn't even use the pseudonym this time, so I had to dig out what the pseudonym was that we had to apply to the puzzle. Axel said that he has still set a few Sudokus. He reminded us of his last puzzle, which featured Mozart's birthday, and incredibly, although it's 6 years ago, I do remember that. I think it featured the year of Mozart's birth and the year of Mozart's death, both diagonally in an otherwise fairly normal puzzle, maybe a sandwich Sudoku. Anyway, you can look that up. It's called something like Mozart's birthday. And it was 6 years ago. That's really an indicative moment of when time flies. So 6 years ago, Simon and I were doing one puzzle a day between us. Not each, but each day on Cracking the Cryptic, there'd be a puzzle, and about 5 days of the week it would be Simon, a couple of days of the week it would be me. So, because this was before things took off a bit, and we thought we got the impression that you guys would like a video from each of us every day, and we've unbelievably maintained that for about 5 years. But back in the day, well, I mean, there was a time when we didn't even do 7 a week. We started doing with a very sporadic case test each, and then we started doing 2 or 3 a week. Then we got up to this period where we were doing 1 a day between us when Axel last featured. And obviously for 5 years we've been doing 1 each a day with extra content on Patreon, which leads me on to talk about the Labours of Rostam coming out on the 1st of August. We're really looking forward to bringing you that puzzle hunt. It's still in testing, but I think it's going to be okay in some way. So do check that out on Patreon on the 1st at 4 p.m. our time. Now, tomorrow we will be streaming. We're going back, I think, to the Blueprints house. We might actually just check when we start the stream that that's what you guys want, but I think it's likely. Do encourage us back into that by joining us, please, if you like the content. 10 p.m. at our time, that'll be, so 5 p.m. US time, I guess, Monday. Now, what else have we got going on? Oh, on Patreon, of course, there's crossword and connection videos. We've got all our apps featuring Sandwich Sudoku, our very first ever one. The last big one is Fog of War, and then we've got the Worms, James Sinclair and Marty Sears, and some news soon on more. And SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD's linked under the video as well, along with how to reach us, our Patreon, the Discord site. Everything to do with the channel is in the description field. Check it out. Right, first link is to High Five by Dubaks, and the rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. We're going to try and put 1 to 9 in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. A clue outside the grid shows the sum of the digits between the 1 and the 9 in that row or column. So in this column, there's a 1 and a 9 somewhere in it, and the digits between them add up to 11. Now, there's an extra rule, and I presume this is going to matter. No 2 5s in the grid have the same digit in the cell immediately above. That's an unusual one. That's probably why the puzzle is called High Five call me Sherlock. Right, those are the rules. Give it a try. Let's see if we can welcome Axel back into the fold. And I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. So, in a sandwich Sudoku, I like to adopt a colour scheme. I don't know if we'd used this 6 years ago. We probably did, or some sort of colour scheme. But anyway, what we call the crusts of the sandwiches, the outside bits, the 1 and the 9, I like to put them in red. So I'm going to make that cell red. And I like to put cells that can't be crusts in green. And in this column, I see the very welcome number 35. Now, what's special about 35? It is the sum of all the digits from 2 to 8. So we sometimes tell you a secret about all the numbers in a Sudoku column or row or box. And if you deduct the 1 and the 9 from that, you get 35. So all of these cells are in the sandwich, and that is the other crust. Now, there's lots of things we can start doing. We've got a 5 sandwich in the top row. So we know those cells must contain a digit. We also know that whether the 5 is to the left or right of this, the crust can't go beyond there, because 5 can only be done in 2 cells with a 2 or 3. It can't be more than that, given that we can't use 1 in these sandwich sums. So I'm going to make those green. Now, I'm going to look at the 33 row, and we worked out that the digits 2 to 8 add up to 35. What can you remove from there to make 33? Only the 2. So we're going to look, we've got a row in which we've definitely got 6 green cells in the sandwich, and they are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Outside the sandwich, the outie, we're going to have a 2. So these digits are either the crust or the 2 that's outside. Now the 31 row acts very similarly. Again, what can you deduct from the 35 total of 2 to 8? You can only deduct a single 4 to get to 31. So again, we know there are six greens and a 4 on the outside. So I can colour these 5 green. They will go with another one on either side, just as down here, that's the same. And I don't know which they are yet. Now there's one other significance. This sort of rule applies, well, from 31 to 35 you can colour 5 cells. From 28 to 30, I think it is. No, from 27 to 30 you can colour the middle 3 cells of a row or column. We don't have any of those. For anything above 21, you can colour the middle cell, but we've actually already coloured that, so that doesn't help this time. Right, in this bottom row, we've got a sandwich sum of 4, so it's obviously not to the left. It must be a single digit 4 to the right. And we find our other crust in the row, and it's a 1, and that doesn't help in the column where we have no clue, but it does enable us to green the rest of the row. Now, this 23 column's getting interesting. Let's think about 23. How many digits do we need? 8 plus 7 plus 6 only adds up to 21. So we need another digit. If it was 876, and I'm only using them as maxima, then it would be 8762. The sandwich sum might be 8753 or 8654. I'm not sure if there's another alternative. What I do know is that there are 4 green digits required to be sandwiched between 2 reds, and therefore we can colour the whole column. Now we've got a 6 sandwich in row 2, so I'm going to green those cells and these ones, which are too far away to be the crust. Okay, I don't know much about this row yet. Right, I'm going to do something with rows 4 and 6 now. It's not incredibly helpful, but it is something. So the 13 sandwich is either 2 or 3 cells making up the sandwich. If you think about the numbers, you can work that out. Now that means that one of the red crusts is in the central box, and definitely not both of them. That's as far apart as you could put them, and that won't let 13 some in between. If you had them that far apart, you've got far too much to be a 13 sum. So one red is here. That means one red is here in this row with a 2 clue. Now that red is either going to be here with a red there. Remember, the other red can't be in this box because there's only 2 reds in every box. Or it's red here with red there. So one of these cells is a 2. I am going to pencil mark across boxes. And these cells in the row can't be red because the reds are either a pair here or a pair here. And those are kind of the giveaways. I don't know. Those are the deductions I think I can make without thinking too hard so far on a Sudoku and a sandwich Sudoku basis. And then I'm a bit stuck. So we've got a 2 or 3 cell sandwich in this column. That doesn't tell me anything quite. 2 or 3 cell sandwich in this column. Again, 2 or 3, no, 2 or 1 in this column. In this row. Yeah, I don't know. There's almost any disposal of how the reds could go in various boxes. You could have 2 reds there, and 2 reds there, and 2 reds there. That's possible. Or 2 reds there, a red here, a red there, 1 here, 1 there. That's possible. Red here and 1 here. The only thing that would force is that you couldn't have a red here. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, I mean, it is possible for there to be a red here, but then there'll be 1 here and 1 here and 1 here, and that would be helpful, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Okay, in this column, I was going to say, is one of these definitely... Okay, I might have to think about the extra rule, the 5s rule. No 2, I mean, we haven't seen any 5s yet. No 2 5s in the grid have the same digit in the cell immediately above. Now, there's a 5 in the top row that doesn't have any digit immediately above it. All the other 5s have a digit above them, and those 8 digits, I suppose they don't include 5, and they must all be different. I don't know how to use that at all at the moment, so I'm going to have to revert back to sandwich thinking and see if I can get something else out of this. Oh, we've got 1 red in one of these 2 cells, and that's the second red in the box, so that's green. Now, I just don't know if this... I wonder if I can make this a definite crust. So what I'm thinking is, if this is a crust, a 2-cell sandwich is very possible. Maybe there's a reason it couldn't be a 3-cell sandwich. If it's not a crust, that's easier. Then these 2 have to be the crusts in the column. So is there a reason this couldn't be a 3-cell sandwich from here? This would have to be a 4, and these 2 would have to add up to 7, and they would be a 2 and a 5. This would be a crust, that would be a crust. What would happen on the 13 row? Nothing interesting. That would be a crust. I don't know. Okay, I do know something. We've got a 9 there, so I shouldn't have written 9 in that cell. What I should have said is that one of these is a crust that is a 1. Those 2 are both green, by the way. I hadn't thought of that. Might help in column 2, doesn't yet, but one of those is a 1. So One of these two is a 9. One of these three is a 9, and that digit is a 1, and that crust in the same column is a 9. I was going to say one of these, oh look, this digit is not a crust now because it sees 9 and 1. So if that was a 9, let's imagine this is a 4 and not a crust. Then we've got 9 here, 1 there, 1 here, 1 there, that becomes a 1, this becomes a 1, which is quite interesting. So that becomes a 1. I mean, it's interesting. You can form a really good chain, but it didn't break quickly. So let's abandon that. Try and think of something else. One of these is a crust. One of these. Okay, let's look at this 7 column. Did we do anything there? If that is a crust, the other is in one of those 2 cells, and these are not. And these are not in the sandwich. If that's not a crust, I don't know. The sandwich could be 2 cells or 1 cell, so I don't learn anything about the digits in that column particularly as a result. I just don't think this 5 rule can be used yet. I mean, you could start speculating about where is the 5 in the puzzle with a 1 above it or something, but I just don't think that's profitable yet. So, there is a 6, that's Sudoku in one of those cells. But since I don't know the sandwich total for this row, it's not been given. That doesn't really butter my parsnips. Oh dear, don't know what to do, Axel. I'm very confused about the rule. Why is the rule here? It doesn't do anything at the moment. And yet when we get going with sandwiches, it might be a bit redundant. I don't know. Oh, maybe I need to think about these 23. If those add up to 23, these others add up to 12, because I'm deducting from 35 in this puzzle, as explained previously. For those to add up to 12, they probably have a 2 in, although they could be 3, 4, 5. And if they have a 2 in, they could only be 2, 4, 6 with the 2 there. But they could be 2, 3, 7 in any order. That's not really as powerful as I was hoping, as it might be perhaps. Oh, I forgot to think about, oh, what? Okay. What happens if that's not a crust? If that's a 2, these are crusts, sandwiching a sum of 11 between them. And that's where 9 goes down here. Ah, and then the sandwich in column 8 couldn't be 2 cells, or you'd get these 2 crusts next to each other in the row. So that would be the other crust, and the sandwich would be 3 cells, which would have to be 2, 3, 5. Now, that's a bit interesting. We'd have a 9 here, 2, 3, 5, and a 1 here. Okay, I think that's going to force the 2 sandwich over to this side, because if you had a 9 there and a 1 there, you'd have to have a 9 in these cells. So you'd have to have a 1 in one of these cells and a 9 outside it. And if we're postulating a 9 there, that can't be a 9. So that would be a 9. So I'm working off the basis of this being a 9. And that's a 1. And now that's a definite 1. And that's a 1. And this doesn't work. That's extraordinary. Okay. I can see it in my head, but I'm going to fill in the digits to explain why this doesn't work. So if that's a 9, these two are the crusts in the final column. That must be so. So they would be like this, 1 and 9. Now the crust in this column has to be there. Now one of these becomes a 9, one of these becomes a 1, and it can't be this side because that is not a crust anymore. So it's this other side. We'd have a 1 there and a 9 here. And now the thing that's going to happen is that this can't be a 1. In fact, it happens a tiny bit quicker than I thought down here. But basically in this row, we need the 1 to be only 7 cells away from the 9. And that will break the column. So that is not correct. And I could see that, but it's quite difficult. But it's making this digit a 9. And now we get a real advance. So that's red. This is the other red, 7 away in the row. That's a 1. This is the outie, which is now a 2 in this row. We get another digit. That's green. Now, in this column, okay, maybe we don't get an enormous advance, but we get something. So that digit is not a 9. It can still be an outie. And this is my problem is, no, in this column, 10 has to be at least 2 cells. So we can plant the crusts and we can number them based on this. And these are now green. And that 9 means that the two sandwich is over on the right side. That's a 1 and that's a 2. The 1 goes red. Now I've got quite a bit of colouring, pencil marking, all sorts of things to do. We've achieved a lot thanks to thinking very hard about where the 9 went here. Right, those are green in the row. There's a 1 in one of those. There was much more I could do. I can't remember what it is. That's green in the column. The 11 sandwich can't be 3 cells anymore, so it must be 2. So that's red. That's all the reds in box 2. Those are green. That's red. Those are green. I mean, we've got nearly all the reds and greens done. We've got a 31 sum in this row. Yes, of course, that's red, that's red. That's the outie, which is green and indeed 4. This is green in the column. That's red in the column. With the 13, so this is green. Okay, maybe we can't quite finish off these digits in terms of colouring, but we've got a lot done. Those include 9s in both cases. Then I can fill in some 1s in red cells and some 9s in other red cells. And we've got almost all the crusts. Now we can fill in some small sandwich fodder. A 5 there, a 2-4 pair here, and a 7 there. We don't know about the 13 sum here. We've effectively done that 31. By getting the outie, we know that the sandwich digits are 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've done this row. We've effectively done this row just like the 34 row. We've definitely done this row. This column, this is good. 2 digits there that don't include a 5, and they don't include a 1, remember. So that's a 3-4 pair. Actually, we know the order because of this. 2 digits here that add up to 11. That's a little bit more up in the air. I don't have much ruled out. But here, we've got all sorts going on in these final 3 columns. So we've got 9 there. These 2 add up to 14. They must now be 6, 8. This pair adds up to 10. And now we can't do that with even digits. It can't be 6, 8. Can't be 6, 4 because of that pair, or 2, 8. So it must be 3, 7. And the other digits we need in the box are 4 and 5. And then in this column, that means this, to make the sandwich of 11, that is 6 or 7. And by Sudoku, one of these two is 7, and that's not quite, oops, and that's not quite clearing up what this cell is. Okay, maybe it's almost time to start thinking about the 5 rule. That's intriguing that that might come in now. I'm going to see what else I can do first. Like, there's pencil marking to start with. That's a 2, 7, 8 triple. This can't be 2 because of that pair. This can't be 7 because of the row. There's a 5 in one of those 2 cells in box, whatever that is. And that places 5 here because we need a 5 in row 2 and there's a 4, 5 pair already in column 9. Now, the 4 from that goes pushing up a 4 round the corner. That's going to tell us where 4 is in row 3. What I want to do is start informing, well, I want to start finding digits above 5s for definite, or start working out how this 13 sum works. For instance, if that was 7 or 8, I was going to sell it, it's only 2 cells long. That's not necessarily, it is true, actually, because neither of these can be a 4. But if that's a 2, it's definitely 3 cells long. Annoying. So, let's look at this column, 3, 4, and 5 to place. Now, I am at least saying the number 5 a little more often now, which is potentially going to help inform this high 5 rule. In fact, let's look at 5. So there's a 5 here, and above it we're going to have some even digit, 2, 4, 6, or 8. There's a 5 in one of these cells, which has either got 1, 2, or 4 above it. One of these 2 is a 5. It could be this one with a 1 above it, or it could be this one with something else. And there's a 5 in one of these 2 cells, either with 3 or 4, or again with 1. It's difficult. I don't really know how that's panning out, so let's do something else instead. 1, 4, 9, I just have to find something to do rather than just say that. 4, 9, 7, 1, 2, 4, 9, 5. So the digits we have left in this row are 3, 6, 7, and 8. So 2 is in one of these 2 cells and in one of these 2. I'm going to have to think about this bloomin' 13 sum, I think. That's a shame. Okay, if that was 8, this is a 5. And then we've got a 5 with a 4 above it. If it's a 7, that's a 6. And in both cases, this digit becomes 9. 8, 5, or 7, 6 have implications on these cells. But the alternative is that this is a 2, and these 2 cells add to 11. I'll tell you what I haven't thought of is 8, 2, 3. And that's annoyingly possible as well. Oh, bother. If that's a 2, I don't know. I mean, this is not helping. It's so strange. You know, I do a lot of sandwich puzzles sometimes, and you get some good progress, and then it just keeps going, and not in this one. Those are the only candidates given the rows and columns. Now, what's happening down here then? 6 has to be in one of these. Oh, there's a 2 there, looking at the 2 2s I marked here. Well, that's just poor. There we go. You can't see everything all the time. That's now not a 2. Right. Well, you see, I was just about to say, now we know it's a 2 cell thing, but I've just thought of this 8, 3, 2 possible, or 8, 2, 3 possibility. Now, what would be wrong with that? That would be 9. This would be 6, 7, don't know, 4 or 5, and that would be 4 or 5. Oh, so we either go 8, 5, 8, 2, 3, or 7, 6, because neither of these can be a 4. So this is 6, 5, or 2. I wish that was more helpful than it seems to be. Four in row 6 is in one of those two cells. Four in row 8 is in one of those two. That's an X-wing with the 4 up here, and that doesn't really get anything going. There's a 2 definitely in one of those two. Just looking for a little bit of help from Sudoku here. Not really getting it anywhere. Okay, I'm going to have to think about the 5s. There's no other real way of going about this. So if this is a 5 with a 4 above it, that 5 doesn't have a 4 above it, and this becomes a 4. Now, what does that do? That places a 4 here. It makes the 5 here in column 7 have a 3 or a 1, whereas this 5 had a 4. This 5 can't have a 4 above it, so it must be a 1 or a 2. I don't know where we're going. I can't see how this is eliminating anything at all. This is very interesting, Axel. 4, 1, 5, 9. Oh, the 7 is in one of those two cells. Right, if this is a 5, it's got a 1 above it. And then no other 5 can have a 1 above it. And that might inform, it certainly places 5 in box 2. Might do more than that. Then we're getting 5s in these places, and no other 5 could have a 1 above it. So this row 8, column 7 can be a 5. So we'd get a 5 there. Come on, what else does that do? No 5 can have a 1 above it, apart from the 1 in column 9 that we've just designated. So this cell couldn't be a 5. And what would we have created? We'd have created 5s with 3 or 4, with 1, with 2 or 4. 2, 4, 6 or 8. It's not enough to rule it out quite. But it is more of a stress. Oh, if 5 was there, one of these is a 5. Okay, let's think this through again then. 5 here has got 1 above it. That is going to make 5 go here. And we've already got 5 there and here. We're going to get 5 here as a result. Now, one of these two is going to be 5. It's either going to have 4 above or 2 or 6. Oh, we're getting a lot of the same digits. 1, 3 or 4, 2, 4 or 6, 2 or 4, 2, 4, 6 or 8. And 5 there is definitely going to put 5 here. And what's that going to have above it? I just don't know. Something that it needs, like 6, 7 or 8. It feels like that's the stressed one with 5 there. That would be a 6. Oh, that would be a 6. So this would be a 4, 6 pair. Ah, so if that is a 5, this is a 6 above a 5 here. So then the 5s definitely have 1 and 6 and 3 or 4 and 2 or 4 above them, and 2, 4 or 6 again, no, not 6 again, 2 or 4 there, 2 or 4 there. This one would have to be a 3 above it. Wow, okay, we are stressing the 5s now. We've got 5s with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 above them. The remaining 5s would have to have 7, 8 and 9 above them. And which boxes are, we've definitely got a 5 here with 7 or 8 above it. And then the others are going to have to be, so we've got that one with 7 or 8 above it, and then 5s in these remaining, no, not those two, in one of those cells. And these would need 7, 8 and 9 above them in some order. Oh, I don't know, that doesn't quite resolve. It's very, very close to giving something. Maybe there was a problem with the original 2s and 6s, so that 5 would have a 6 above. This one would, well, I worked out this would either have a 2 above it if it was there, or a 4 above it if it was there. Oh, but there's also a ramification on what the length of the 13 clue is. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go again. 5 there with a 1 above it makes that 5 with a 6 above it. And this 5 with 3 or 4. But that's 2 or 4, and the one here is 2 or 4, so this one has to be 3 down here. Okay. Now, what has happened to the length of the 13 sum? We've got a 5 down here, so it's not an 8-5 pair. We've had a 6 up there, so that's not a 7-6 pair. So the 13 sum is now 3 cells long. And this is the 9 in row 4, column 5, definitely. And this is also a 9 down here. So we would have our 9s in those cells, and then we're trying to have 5s with 7, 8, 9 above them in these cells. A 5 here could have an 8 above it, annoyingly. Oh, I don't know. That nearly breaks, but it doesn't quite do it, does it? Ah, it's a complicated look ahead as well. It's not something I feel entirely comfortable doing. I might be making mistakes, is the problem. So there's a 7 somewhere up there. That's Sudoku. 2 and 4 are up here. That is 3, 6, or 8. That is the same digit as that. Thrilling news. If that's 4, 7, that's 5. What do we know about this? 2, 3, or 8, and the other digit that goes up here. The trouble is that could still leave this being a 5 with a 4 above it. Okay, let's say the 4 was here. That is 5 with a 4 above it. And that's a 3, which gives us 5 with a 4 above it down here. Ah, 4 is not, that's a much simpler deduction, thank goodness. 5 with a 4 above it here. 4 is in one of these two places. We've worked that out, that's Sudoku. If that's the 4 above a 5, look what happens in column 7. That's a 3, that's a 5, and that's a 4. And now you've got 2 5s with 4s above them, which is not allowed. So that is not the 4, this is the 4. This is now a 3, 5 pair down here. Is this going to do anything? Please do something. Deduction. I don't think it is, you know. We've now got 5 with 2, 6 or 8 above it, which is a hideous amount of choice. No, that's the only place for 4 in the column. It does that. The 5 down here either has 3 or 1 above it. 5 here has 2, 6 or 8. If that's a 5, it's a 1. If that's a 5, it's 3, 6 or 8. One of those is a 5 with 1, 2 or 4. I'm running out of interesting things to say about definite 5s, and none of them are really very definite at all. Oh, it's tricky. It's very tricky. Oh, I don't know. Right. We still didn't end up with a 5 with a 4 above it there. Maybe that's going to suddenly, maybe that already is the question. Where can you have 5 with a certain digit above it anywhere in the puzzle? I mean, I haven't really turned my mind to that. That's quite a tough question to ask. But we know, no, we don't know that one of these two is a 5, because that doesn't have to be a 5. There's another place where we could put 5 with a 4 above it. And there's another place where it could happen. I mean, these are places where the same thing can happen, which won't happen twice, but still probably worth thinking about briefly. Actually, maybe what I should do is recolor the cells that have got 5 above them. That are above a 5. So one of those two. One of those two in this column. One of those two. Sort of interesting. 5 in this column has to be in one of these 3 places. So the digit above it is one of those 3, I suppose. I mean, so if that was a 5 under a 2, and then this is a 2, then that has to be a 7-4 pair, because we need to place 7 in the box. Gosh, it's all going to be done with this 5 rule. It's very hard to operate. This isn't easy at all. Oh no, there's this pair adding up to 11. I haven't thought about them in a long time. I mean, there were so many possibilities, I just didn't really think about it. We've got not 2, 9, that's not possible, but 3, 8, 4, 7 and 5, 6 are all possible pairs. 5, 6 would be a 5 either under a 6 or under a 9. It says some other sandwich I've just forgotten. It could be. I do that. No, I can't, I mean, there's 13 ones still to go, but that's so far from any resolution. Mind you, here's a little something to think about. Here's a little something to think about. If that was a 7-6 pair, if that was a 7, this is a 7-6 pair. And then 7 and 6 go here, and then 7 and 6 have to go here. And that's going to force 6 to be there and then there. That's going to force 6 to be here. And that means this will be a 7 with a 4. And that's quite powerful. Here in this row we'd have 4921, a 7-6 pair, 3 there, and these would be 5 and 8. And that would be a 2. Okay, this is worth thinking about. The 5 would be under either 4 or 2. The 5 here would be under 3, 6 or 8. The 5 there would be under 2 or 8. Oh, there'd be quite a lot to work with, but I don't know. There'll be something simpler. There'll be something built in that is quicker to disambiguate than that. But it is intriguing how much ramification there is going on. That digit is the same as that one. I know that. Don't know what they are. Come on, man. Think of something useful. So if that was 7, 6, this strikes me as not very likely. 7, 6, that would be 2. That would be 8, 3, 7, 6, 9, 8, 3. That would be 4 or 5, just like that. In this situation, what were we getting down here? We knew what it was because of the 7, 6 pair there. That became a 4, didn't it? Why did that happen? 7, 6 there, 7, 6 here, 7, 6 there. Oh, it's because 6 got pushed round to here. Goodness gracious. So then you get 7, 4 and a 5 here. And maybe the 5 rule's somehow in play, but I don't know what that cell would be in the situation. So 7, 6 here. It gives us 8, 3, 9. These would be from 2, 4, 5. Oh, that would be an X-wing on 2s, which would force this to be 2. Well, that's no surprise given where the 9s go. Right, maybe it is something like we need to have a 5 in the puzzle with a 9 above it. I have not thought in those terms. I sort of vaguely approached thinking in those terms at one point and then shied away from it like a scared horse. Where is the 5 in the puzzle with a 9 above it? It's not in this box, so it's not in column 9. It's not there, so it's not in column 8. It's not in column 7. It's not in column 1. It's not in column 2. It's not in column 3. So the 5 with a 9 above it is in column 4, 5, or 6. And it could be there. It's not the one that's here, so it's in box 5 or 8. It could be in one of those cells or it could be there. So the 5 with a 9 above it is in one of these highlighted cells. Let's just try and think this through. This is a weird way of thinking about the puzzle, but it's the way I haven't tried, so it's really got to be worth a go. So, if this was the 5 with a 9 above it, 9 would be there. This would be 9, this would be 5. There would be a 5 in one of these two cells. With 5 there and 5 there, one of these two, and it couldn't be, if the 5 under the 9 was here, then 5 in this box would not be under a 9 and would be there with a 6 above it. That would be 6 and 8. And that would kill off this completely. There is no way you could make this up. If you were to put a 5 in this cell, that would be a 6 for the 11th sum. That would be an 8 by Sudoku. And if you put 6 and 8 there, I don't think you can make this up. This is either 7, 6, or it starts with an 8. So that is not a 5, and therefore this is not a 5 under the 9. So the 5 under the 9 is in box 5 in one of those 3 cells. Trouble is, that's under different 9s potentially. However, we also know that there's no 5 here. Is that any use? Do we also know that this is not a 5-6 pair? No. Okay, let's think about that, because this could be a 5 under a 9 here. The only one under a 9. Actually, that's interesting. This would be a 6. This would be a 6. This would have to be a 2. Because you'd have 5 and 6 in the row. This is if this cell is a 5 under a 9. You'd have 5 and 6 in the row. That's a 2. This would go 8, 2, 3, 9, 5, 6, 7, 4. You'd get a 5 under this 1 here. That would be the 4 in column 6. This is that's generally an interesting point. Where does 4 go in column 6? It's either there or there. There's nowhere else. Is that worth doing? 4, 7 here would have to be 4 on top of 7. That would make this a 7 and this a 5. Four, 7, 5. This couldn't be 8, 5 or 7, 6. This would have to be 8, 2, 3. Again, 8, 2, 3. That's if 4 was there. The alternative is that 4 is here and that's a 2, and I don't know what that does. That probably doesn't do very much in the puzzle, which is annoying, but there you go. Now, 5 is in one of those 3 places. Come on, let's think again about 5 and 6, because it was doing something. 5 and 6 was making that 5 and 6 and that 4, and that made this 8, 2, 3. And we got the 5 under a 1 and 5 under a 9. So this would have to be 5 under 2 or 4. This couldn't be 5 under 1. This would be 5 under 3. What happened here? This was 8, 2, 3. 5 would be here, under 2, because of the 5 we've placed here. That's what would happen. So we'd have 5 under 2 there. This would be 5 under 4. So we'd have 5, I'm sorry, but I don't know any other way of doing this. We'd have 5 under 2, 4, 9, 1, 3, 6 or 8 in column 8. In column 1, it would have to be under 6, 7 or 8. Oh, it would definitely have to be here under that cell being 6, 7 or 8. And therefore in column in box 8. It would have to be here under 7 or 8 there. Oh, what have I lost track of here? Something. Easily done, to be fair. Oh, it was 6 or 8 there, 7 or 8 here. 6, 7 or 8 there, and that looks like it works. Oh, that is annoying. Oh, this 11 sum is really important, isn't it? Look, it's 6 and 4 have to be fitted into this column. Okay, the only way this is a 3-8 pair is if that's 4-6. Then these are 2-5-7. Then you've got 3-8-9 here. What does that do? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely blooming nothing. But a 6-5 pair here makes that a 4. Oh, goodness me, Axel. This is very hard to disambiguate, unless I've just missed a huge deduction. I'm going to soldier on. I'm going to go over the hour on this one, but I want to know what the answer is now. I'm really very invested. If that was a 5 with a 6 below it, what did it do here? It made it 8-2-3, didn't it? Hang on. There's something problematic here. If that was an 8, the 5 I was postulating here couldn't be under an 8. I'm not sure that 5 could be under an 8 in the world I'm talking about, because that's 2-3-6. And that's 7, and that's 4. 4, 8 would be down here. Actually, maybe that is all right. Oh, oh, bother. One of the things in the 13 row doesn't work, and I can't see why. It's probably absolutely obvious why either 8-2-3 or 7-6 or even 8-5 doesn't work. 8-5, that would put 4 above the 5. And isn't that a problem? Four above the 5. I don't know why it's a problem. We had some issues with 4 above a 5 earlier, but they all got resolved and we found out they weren't happening. So I don't know. So I know the 5 is confined here in box 5 and it has to be under a 9. And the 5 in box 4 is under 1, 2 or 4. I mean, all of these 5s are going to be under even digits, aren't they? Maybe not. Maybe not, because here we could put a 5 there with an odd digit above it. It would have to be a 7. And there is still a 5 to put in this box, and I've no idea what goes above that. So do I need to search suddenly for the 5 that goes under a 1? No, because that could be here, just like here. Oh, let's think about this again. If that is 5, 6, that is 5 under 1, and that has to be the 5 then here. Now, that might do something that I'm just not getting. We'd have 5 under 1, 5 under 2 or 4, 5 under 2, 6 or 8. 5 under 3 definitely here. Yes, that's the interesting thing. That creates a definite 5 here. Okay, I've only just seen that this is an absolute iron-fast relationship. If that's a 5, that's a 5. And then there's a 5 in one of those two cells by Sudoku, and that's a definite 5. I've obviously got that 5 already in the grid, and that one. Now, there'd be a 5 in one of those two. We know there's a 5 in one of those two and a 5 in one of those three. So these are the possible locations for 5 if we start with a 5 in row 6, column 9. And I haven't really thought much about the sandwiches. I've only thought about the digits above a 5 so far, and they are 1, 3, 2, 6 or 8, 6, 7 or 8 in column 1, 2, 4 or 6 in column 3, 1, not 1, but 2 or 4 there in box 2. So let's do that again. 1, 3, 2, 6 or 8, 2 or 4, 9. Oh, no, we don't know where it is in box. Oh, we do know it's 9 in box 5, because that's where we've worked out the 5 has to be under a 9. So one of those is under a 9. 2, 4 or 6 in column 3. That digit would be a 6 under the 5. Come on. 5, 2, 9, 1, 3. We'd have to have 4 in row 6, column 5. Which puts a 2 in row 2, column 5. Is there some little function of those? Have a 7 in the corner. That would put 7. 7's a little difficult to place in this world. 7 in the right hand bottom corner puts 7 in column 3 in box 7. No, I cannot quite see how that is a problem for anything. That is very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Goodness me. I mean, my eyes are flicking all over this puzzle now, trying to find where there's any weak spots in it. Anything that's going to tell me how it works. And I'm just not finding them. So frustrating. It's probably something relatively simple, like when we found that 4. Something to do with the placement of 5s that... Oh, yeah, we found that that wasn't a 4 sitting over a 5, so I can't rule 5 out of that cell. Five here would prevent, because it would put 9 there and 9 there, that would prevent 5 being here. So 5 there would prevent 5 in all of these positions. But I mean, I knew that anyway, actually, because it would put 5 here. 5 there would be, 5 here would be under a 1 and would make that a 4. So that would make this a 5. And we'd have had 5 under 1, so that would be 5. Okay, we'd have had 5 under 1, so we would be limiting 5 in box 8 as well, and in box 5. So this is all postulated on 5 in row 3, column 4. We've obviously got 5 there as well. Oh, but I've placed 5 there, so I'd know where it was in boxes 5 and 8. Right, I'd have 5s. I'm left with 2 possibilities in each of columns 1 or 3. But a 5 here in row 3, column 4 forces 5s into all of these places that I've just highlighted. And what goes above them? 3 in column 7, therefore 6 or 8 in column 9, 2, 6 or 8 in column 8, 1 in column 4, oh, 9 in box 5, because that's where the 5 has to be under a 9. So we've had, just recap, 3, 6 or 8, 2, 6 or 8, I don't know how to distinguish those, 1 and 9, 1 and 9 and 3. 6 or 8, 2, 6 or 8. Now, down here, 5, 4, 6, 1. So is there something 5 couldn't go under in this situation? That would be helpful. One. I can't see that. Oh, I can't see that. It's really tight. 1, 3, 2, 6, 8. Five under 4. Is that suddenly difficult to place? It doesn't feel like it to me. Maybe that's the question I should have been asking for some time. Where can 5 now actually go under 4? It's not in column 9 or 7 or 8. It's not in column 2 at all. It's not the box 5 one, which we know is under a 9, and it's not that 4. That's not quite the same answer. Four in box 5 is limited to these cells. So it feels like the only places in the puzzle where 5 can go under 4 at all are in column 5, which weirdly could be in any of these 3 places, or here. And that's odd. That is odd. Especially the fact that it could be in any of 3 places in column 5, the 5 that sits under a 4. Okay, but it's worth thinking. Oh no, there's there as well. Definitely there is there as well. Ah, phooey. I mean, that's nearly a very interesting question. It's nearly a very interesting way of going about answering it, but it doesn't actually work. So let's try another question. 5 under 6. It's not under the 6 given here or the 6 here. It's not under the 6 there. Okay, there are two possibilities of 5 under 6 up in box 3's 6. It's not happening with that 5 in box 2. It's not happening with the 5 in box 5, which is under a 9. We know that. Now, annoyingly, we can't quite rule out that 5 under 6 is happening here with a 5 in one of those cells and a 6. No, with a 5 specifically there. So the 5s that could be under 6s are there, and then there's still column 1 and column 3. Oh, it's depressing. It's depressing when it's so difficult. And I still think there's some easy way to see this, and you guys have probably spotted it at this point. It's so strange, right? If this was a 5-6 pair, let's falsify that. Or did we do that? Did we falsify that this was a 5-6 pair? That would be huge. Maybe I did that ages ago and didn't realize. Because that would be 5, that would be 6, this would be 4. No, this group would be 8, 2, 3. Let's play along with that and see what happens. 5, 6, 4, 8, 2, 3, 9. I mean, these would all be just definite, and something's going to break almost immediately, isn't it? And it's going to be to do with what 5 goes underneath. That would have to be 5, so it doesn't go underneath 9 in this box. And that would be 5, and there we go. It breaks immediately with 5s under 2 1s. So why couldn't I see that before? So all I needed to see, and it's very difficult, I think, is that if you put 5 here with a 6 here as it needs to be, that becomes a 6. And that's a 4. And the 8, 2, 3 that forces the 13 sum to be gives us a 9 here and a 9 here. And now the only place for 5, which is already under a 9, is here. And that forces this to be a 5, but now we've got 2 5s under 1s. That's not easy to see. I should have been able to do it. I sort of failed, but we've got there. And I'm going to use it. And that is not a 5 now. Not only that, 6 is not in this pair. So because we know that 5 got limited to those cells because it has to have 9 above it in the box. So 6 in the column is there at the top. 6 is not there. 6 is in one of these cells, and this is a 7. We know the sandwich, so we get a 4 there and a 5 here. Now, this is a full yellow cell. This one is not. We haven't had 5 under 1, so we can't rule about this. But what are we getting down here? This is not a 7. It's 2, 6, or 8. This pair is not 6, 5. I don't know. It's either 4, 7, or 3, 8. That 5 stops this being a 5, but that doesn't rule even on whether this is 7 or 8. It does mean this is either 3 or 9. That's not very interesting. 7, 5 in this box, still got 3 and 8 to place, and I don't know how to do that. This digit is there, so it's not 6. So that's a 2, 8 pair, and this is 6. There's a 2 in one of these cells. What an exciting thing. Now, there's a 5 in one of these two, And surely we're beginning to know something about cells above the 5s. Well, or are we? We didn't even find out what this bloomin' 13 sum was. Okay, so let's think about that some more. If it's 7, 6, that's a 7, 6 pair, that's a 7, 6 pair. This is 5 and 8, and that's 2. 5 would definitely be under 2 or 4. Here, 5 is under 1, 2 or 4. Here and here, we're looking at 3, 2, 3, 6 and 8, and here, 3 or 1. We know it's under a 9 in box 5. It's not finishing even now, is it? That is 7 or 8 by Sudoku. I've got 5 limited. This pair is either a 3-8 pair, (3-8) pair is quite interesting actually. Or it's a 7-6 pair. No, sorry, a 7-4 pair, which would be 4 above 7. If it was a 3-8 pair, we'd have an 8 X-wing, and that couldn't be 8. That would have to be 7. Oh, that won't work. If that's a 3-8 pair, that's a 7, that's a 3, that's an 8, that's a 6. The 7 doesn't work. Okay, so this is not a 3-8 pair. This is definitely 4 above 7. Good. Well, that's it's nice to get a resulting deduction. 2 there, 4 there. This group is 3, 5, 8. That's a 7. This is a 2, 9 pair. In this row, I don't know. That's become an 8. 1, 2, 9, 8, 4. Does that fix 8 here? No, still don't know what this sandwich is. Oh, hang on, that 7 makes that a 3. That's a 7. Now this is 8, and it must go 8, 2, 3. And we do know. We do know what the sandwich is, and we are going to finish, I think, now. But I still think there's some evolutions to go through as regards all the 5s. 2 there. 5, 7 and 3 in the central column. So that's a 5, that's a 3, that's a 7. That's a 5, that's an 8. 2 and 6 fill in. Oh, 6 and 8 fill in. I mean, it's funny, you know, we've used that fact about 5s in an intense, difficult chain. We've worked out what was impossible eventually. And we've come down to a grid that I have a feeling is now going to disambiguate entirely through Sudoku. We get a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight. And I think we might disambiguate this through Sudoku and then just check off the 5s at the end. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I did something wrong here. Right, let's go back to when I put 5, 8 there, which should have been a 5, 7 pair. Right, it was only here. Don't worry, we're going to be okay. And then I made that a 7, and that's genuine. 5, 7, 2, 1, 4. These are from 3, 6, 8. There's no problem with that. I can still make that 2 and 3 in the corner, and I'm not doing the song again because I did it once and it was a little premature. 2 and 8 there. Right. Now we'll see if my contention is right. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe we're still... I thought what we were going to find is that we just didn't need to use the 5 thing anymore, and we would just check it off at the end, which would be really strange, having had it be so important in the puzzle. That's 3 or 8. I mean, we're close. Look at these pencil marks. There's not many left. I might have missed something. We're very close to finishing. Okay, let's now do the digits above the 5s. So let's look at them. because they're pretty much fixed in some places, not there. That one is fixed. That one is now fixed, and that is not it. Right. So far we have 4, 1, 9, 2. So we mustn't have 1 again here, so we can put 5 under 3. Make 3 fully yellow. And that's going to do a bit more Sudoku. Maybe not quite enough still. Right, we've got now 4, 1, 9, 2, 3, definitely yellow. 6, 7 and 8 to go. One of them is there. One of them is going to go in one of those cells. And the other one is, this 5 can't be under a 1, so that's going to give us an 8. There we go. We did need the rule all the way to the end. That's an 8 and it goes yellow. That's therefore a 6. And in this column we've got to have 5 sitting under 7 there. And that must be right. That is a puzzle with a really evil part. Goodness me, I'm very pleased to have finished that. There we go. Yes. Oh dear, that's a toughie. Absolute beast, Burak. That's really a lot harder than the last one 6 years ago, but welcome back, and thank you for the mental workout. We'll see you again soon. Please come back tomorrow. Join us for the blueprints thing as well, the live stream, and bye for now.